we have seen a lot of classics get reboots or remakes, and some fail, some live up to the potential, keeping homage to the classic and making nuances to their series, which works well. How you guys doing? How's my pack doing? M.V.K here, back again today. And of course, you guys should have known that I was going to talk about Voltron. Now, first and foremost, guys, I want to apologize for not giving recaps and reviews of the past couple of seasons. I'm sorry. There was computer issues and everything like that. But I'm here to give an entire season overview of the series overview, which includes the last season, the final season. Now, as I was saying before, we've seen series before. This is not the first time Voltron has had a remake or reboot. There have been many over the years, and I remember most of them. Some like, oh my God, this is terrible. Nickelodeon's one, for example, terrible. I remember Mainframe, the same people that gave us Reboot and Transformers Beast Wars did one back in the day. Continued the story with the original cast. Okay. But this series that aired on Netflix, it truly made many new Voltron fans. And I was happy to see that. As a person a child of the 80s as I am, who grew up with the originals, it made me happy to see that. To hear people come up to me and say, coworkers who never watched Voltron, that would come up to me and say, Chris, did you watch Voltron? Or things like that. Hey, Chris, did you? And I'm like, yeah, I've been watching Voltron since I was a kid. To see that made me really happy. And the people behind this, DreamWorks, everybody, when I first heard that they were doing this, I was scared. I'm not going to lie. I was scared. I was scared because I was like, oh, here we go again. I've seen these big name studios try with other classics that I grew up with, and they failed. But here, respect to you all. Respect to you all. Wow. Very much indeed. The series really took a nuance for itself. The way they really went into more detail. What I loved about the series in general, guys, was the more detail they went into each character. Each character had somewhat its own arc, trying to find who this real character was. When you watch the original, Keith started out as this noble leader. He was always like that. But in this, they really had you really explore who Keith was. Steven Yeun did a great job voicing that character. I thought he was great. Shiro, but in the States before when it transitioned, they made him, Sven. And they played that up in the series too. But Shiro was great. Mr. Keaton did a great job. And Hunk. And what they did with Pidge. Wow. That was great. And as much as it was great, I kind of figured, that's okay. Because you watch the original, Pidge looks like a girl. I was like, is he a girl? Is that a girl? I'm just saying. So them making her a female was perfect. I did not mind. And Lance was great. And what they did with Princess Allura was even much better than what they did with the 84 version. She was strong, but very willing to learn, a little naive at times, but also open-minded at times. And when they brought in all Zarkon and Lotor and even Hagar, it was like old times again. But each season gave us just pieces and nuances of each story. and each season gave us where maybe a story left off in that season continued in the next season. And they wrapped up a lot of these story arcs very well, in my opinion, that made us really enjoy, okay, this is going smoothly. Now, the only thing I would say my concerns about the series in general was some of the seasons were too short. Like some had like maybe 7 to 5 episodes. I'm like, wait, what is this? Really? And it left you on a cliffhanger. But the brilliance of the animation had a very anime style to it, which is perfect. Paying homage, like I said, paying homage to the original. But also incorporating the 3D animation, which works. Sometimes that doesn't work. I've said that before in previous overviews. Sometimes those don't work, but here it worked. And not pulling punches in terms of the fights and the punches, you felt every punch, every kick. If somebody got stabbed, it was like, oh, you know, somebody got hurt. Oh, you know, it felt that way. And I really, really enjoyed that. More importantly, leading up to Keith finding who he really was, how perfect was that? Finding his mother. You guys know how I am with that stuff. You know, finding his mother, finding where he is. He's torn between human and his alien side, but it worked. And when he left the team, it kind of like, okay, where does we go from there? Keith is supposed to, once again, they took what was supposed to be and then flipped it, but it still worked. You know, Keith, Alora, Hunk, Lance, Pidge, that was supposed to be the teams. At one point, it wasn't. It was Shiro, Hunk, Princess, Pidge, Lance. And it worked. So the other things about the series that I really enjoyed was them leaving out Granny. That character that was Alora's grandma, like how, you know, Nanny. Nanny was Nanny, right? Yeah, Nanny. I never did like the character. She had no real purpose, in my opinion, and I'm glad they left her out. The mice I was okay with, but when the way they built up Voltron, of showcasing, once again, doing more than what the original series, showcasing that this team wasn't the first, giving them a real, I like the name, the Paladins. I thought that was great. You know, as I said before, I always thought that was great. Like them giving them the Paladins. We saw that who created Voltron, which I don't even, if I recall, they never showcased in the original who created Voltron. It was never shown in that. It was never shown, but they showed it here. And more importantly, showcasing Alora's father was a member. Zarkon was a member. And we saw the niches of his descendant into the darkness. And even we got a glimpse of Hagar, where she came from. Now, at one point, I thought they may make Keith's mother Hagar. That's what I thought was going to happen. But I was wrong. And it's cool. But the fact that we got an indication of why Zarkon wanted the lions back, why he wants, especially the Black Lion, because he led the Black Lion, and that mind trip was just perfect the way they did that. But when they eliminated Zarkon from the equation, from the series in general, as the main villain, I was like, whoa, okay, all right, they're gonna go with Lotor, his son. That's who took over next. And when they took out Lotor, I'm like, whoa, okay, so where do we go from here? Fast forward now, with Lotor down, it goes to Hagar as the main villain, who now is who found herself again, and she doesn't call herself Hagar, but we got the indication of where she got that name from. Beautiful. That was beautiful. I'm like, wow, that's good storytelling. We saw that, and I'm like, and I'm saying to myself, okay, she's gonna be the main villain. And when we saw lastly where they left off, where they defended Earth and everything, and then looks like everything was cool last season, and then Voltron has to fight this new mecha that comes out of nowhere, and we get to see in this season, in the last season, where it happens. When Keith came back, a lot of us were probably saying, okay, so where does this leave Shiro? Where does he go from this? Where does he go as a character? He's not piloting the lions anymore. A lot of people saying, oh, Shiro's gonna die. A lot of people saying Shiro's gonna die in season 6. I think season 5, season 7. I was hearing everybody saying, oh, Shiro's gonna die. Didn't happen. What did they do? They made him commander. He kind of became like Captain Kirk, or Commander Shepard. He came characters that I loved, and the badass arm that he had and everything like that. But even going further with Shiro's character, look at what they did. Once again, now a lot of sites made a big deal out of it, and it is that way, but making Shiro gay was like, whoa, like, okay, I'm not mad at it. It's interesting. It's cool. We'll see where it goes. And we did. We got to see that him being a part of the Earth Alliance Corps, kind of ruptured his relationship. And for anybody who felt like, oh, that was stupid to do that, look, man, we've been starting to see more and more cartoons, animated series now not feeling like, okay, feeling that it's okay to showcase that. Steven Universe, even Legend of Korra did it, and that's canon. She was bisexual. So I had no problem with Shiro being gay. No problem whatsoever. The lead up to Lance falling for Laura and him trying to express himself, especially in this season, and then he finally does, and she gives right back to him that yes, she loves him too. How cool is that? But sometimes fate has a different way of, and we saw that in this season alone, that in this season alone, they really tried to give us, this final season, they really went deep into giving us a reason to somewhat relate to Hagar. I'm still gonna call her Hagar because that's but we give her a relate because she lost her family, and she will do anything to get it back, including destroying universes and multiverses, and they went deep into that. And to see, what I also loved about the series was that in the original series, when Voltron came in, it was blazing sword / game over. Here is, though he's the most powerful robot in the universe, he still had trouble. It gave us reason to root for them more, to feel that they are still underdogs. And the chemistry, the build-up that these characters had with each other made it even better. In terms of just, they grew as a group and became one as a group. I love that. I thought that was brilliant on the writing staff and everything. They didn't start out all being, yeah, we're great. Once again, some things that the nuances they did compared to the 84 series, gotta admit, I'll even admit, yeah, it was good. But the way they ended the series, wow. There was a part of me that thought they may go that route with Allura. I kind of had a feeling like I started sensing it maybe season 6 that they may go that route. But one of my biggest joys was Allura getting to see her father again. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, that made me cry. And you guys should all know reason why. But her getting to see that again, and even Hagar going back in time to seeing, getting in touch with Lotor and her and Zarkon, and then them seeing right through that. It was like, whoa. And she just got jaded and pissed, and it was just like, okay, then I'm gonna just it became a race. I love how each episode there in the final season alone, there was never a kind of a halt. There were maybe 2 episodes at least that felt like fillers till they get back to the main story, but other than that, it was fast paced. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I loved that. I thought it was great. This series truly showcases that you can do nuances to a classic, but stay true to the source, stay true to the characters, stay true to fans that grew up with this. They did a magnificent job. And it's sad to see that they ended. I thought they may go maybe 10 seasons, but hey, 8 seasons is good too. And especially this being on Netflix, where Netflix has been canceling shows right and left, right and left. It worked. And yeah, you can say, oh, but this was an animated show, Chris. But still, no doubt that the animation, the musical score. I don't talk too much about the musical score, but I cannot lie to you guys. The musical score in this series reminded me of Mass Effect. One of my favorite gaming franchises. Mass Effect had some great music. This did too. It got you into the series. It got you into everything. It really played a big focal point in the series as well. And all the other characters that made up from Karan. Karan was a lot different from 84 Karan, but still had nuances of it. And to see at the end of the series what the team, what they do. I mean, they grew up, they got older. Lance, he's now like a farmer, and he's still spreading Alora's word. Hunk has his own chef crew. Pidge, she creates like with her father and her brother. Great. Keith and the Gara Empire have become like one, and now they're kind of like a rescue aid. Like they're kind of like, I would say, the intergalactic version of the how can I put it? They're like the rescue aid of the what's the I'm looking for the right team. I'm not Marines. Like what the UN does. I'm forgetting what it's called right now off the top of my head, but I can't remember. But it's like them. And Shiro gets married. That stuff like that. What I also loved, and I have to talk about the ending where we see the lions literally say goodbye to them. Their job is done. The galaxy's safe. The universe is safe. We're not needed anymore. Beautiful. Beautiful. I thought that was great. From one Voltron fan who grew up with that series, and to see greatness, to see if you take your time and you put the effort, to put the work in, you put everything into it to make sure you get it perfect. And shout out to Lauren Montgomery as well. Got to give her a lot of credit too, as always. You probably heard that name before. You've probably seen her in a lot of DC animated stuff. She did good work. All in all, guys, Voltron, Netflix Voltron series, DreamWorks Voltron series, whatever you want to call it, was near masterful. It was a near masterpiece. And I say that because I enjoyed it. I say that because I believe it's true, and I will debate that with anybody about it. There have been a few reboots, remakes that have come from previous, especially 80s classics that have surpassed or have been on that same bar with the original. This has surpassed the 84 one. And I said that. Yes, I said that. I said that, and I truly believe it. And if anybody has a problem, any fellow child of the 80s has a problem with what I said, come. Tell me the reason why you don't think so. But other than that, guys, my pack, your alpha, thanks you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you haven't watched the Netflix Voltron, I damn sure recommend watch the series. It was great. What's next in terms of I definitely need to talk about the She-Ra. That's long overdue too. I will talk about that soon. But other than that, guys, my pack, your alpha, bids you peace. One love. Stay tuned. You keep it real as always. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.